Qatar's Foreign Ministry spokesman Majed al-Ansari has been giving a briefing in Doha and has been taking questions. Let's listen in.
Within the foreign ongoing coordination, Sultan bin Saad al-Mriqi, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, led the delegation of the State of Qatar in the ministerial meeting for the strategic dialogue between the GCC countries and in Manama in Doha. Manama in Bahrain. The cooperation between GCC countries and Canada. During the meeting also, he met His Royal Highness Amir Sulaiman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince in the state of Bahrain, and the Foreign Minister of Canada. In the Indonesian capital, Jakarta, yesterday, the first round of political consultation between the Foreign Ministry in Qatar and the Foreign Ministry in Jakarta. The Saad al-Mriqi has led the Qatari delegation. Mohammed Ali Smith has led the Indonesian delegation during the meeting. In Jakarta, Saad al-Mriqi also met the Prime Minister of Indonesia, and they discussed the cooperation between both countries. Within the international ongoing efforts to give a momentum to the Palestinian issue, Dr. Mariam, Minister of State for International Cooperation, led the Qatari delegation to the meeting of the organizations for helping this regard that was held in the capital of France. And she confirmed the role of the civil society to bring reforms and to have the Palestinian issue being sorted out through bringing peace based on the two-state solution and Eastern Jerusalem as the capital of the state. During her meeting, she also discussed with Muhammad Abu Bakr, Deputy Foreign Minister in African Affairs in Cairo, and the Deputy Foreign Minister in Turkey, and the Minister for the Francophonie and in France. Dr. Mohammed bin Abdul Aziz bin Saleh, Minister of State in the Foreign Ministry, participated on Friday with the policies of mediation held in Zurich. During the main session, he shed the light on the environment of mediation and the role of the players, of the mediators, and resorting to AI and other technological things that might help in boosting mediation in the conflicts. He also said that trust between both parties is quite important to make the mediation a success, and the future of mediation must depend on cooperation between different parties. During his meeting, he discussed with the Minister of State in the Foreign Ministry the cooperation between both countries and the latest developments in the region. During his visit to Riyadh on Monday, he met Engineer Walid bin Abdul Karim, Deputy Foreign Minister in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They discussed the latest development in the region and developments in Syria, Lebanon, and Somalia. He also met Yazid bin Muhammad, advisor of the Foreign Minister, discussed both the situation in Lebanon and cooperation between both countries regarding Lebanon, and he confirmed the state of Qatar's position in supporting the Lebanese people and Lebanon. He also met today here in Doha with Chai Gon, the Chinese envoy for the Middle East, and they discussed the relations and developments in the region. This is all what we have, and you can now ask any question. A question from Al Jazeera. Can you please give us more details regarding the Qatari mediation that is related to the Memorandum of Understanding between Iran and the U.S., what the Qatari delegation has carried with him to Tehran. The second part of the question, are you going to take part in the ceremony of signing this MOU in Geneva, and Doha is expected to host any other meetings in the future? Thank you very much. Regarding the details of the mediation, I'd like to confirm that the state of Qatar, and within its support to our brothers in Pakistan, Qatar has played a role within the team of mediation led by Pakistan, and meetings have been held in Islamabad, and Qatar has played a role to narrow the gaps between the parties concerned, and the Qatari mediation was to support the Pakistani mediation and to reach a language that is accepted between both parties so as to continue and to restore the normal navigation in the Strait of Hormuz and the Strait and the negotiation between the parties concerned. Regarding the participation in the ceremony, yes, Qatar will be represented in this, and in addition to other regional parties within the mediation process to sort the crisis. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to congratulate you for the big achievement of the Qatari diplomacy, and the too much effort being played by Qatari diplomacy, and we understand that will be clear on Friday. Now, the talks between Iran and America will end up in this current situation. What about the security situation, the economic situation in the Gulf countries? Have these topics been discussed during this period, or will be discussed in the future? Thank you very much. Undoubtedly, the efforts being played by Pakistan, in addition to the other regional countries, including Qatar, concentrate on the security in the region and stability in the region, the security of Qatar, security of the Gulf countries, countries that are affected with the war. Countries have been affected with this war, and because of this war, food and other things must be put into consideration, and the talks have discussed all these matters, and the security and stability in the Gulf, and also the Gulf countries are concentrating on the security of the citizens and the residents. Qatar is quite interested in the security of its residents and its citizens in general, because this security is part and parcel of the regional security and the security in the Gulf Cooperation Council. We support these efforts of the mediators, and we concentrate and we confirm that this agreement is a part of other parts that will follow in order to have lasting peace in the region for us and for our partners. I have so many questions regarding the 300 billion mentioned by the American president for the reconstruction of Iran, and the Gulf countries will participate. Is this among the agreement? The Isna News Agency said that there will be an electricity network between Qatar and Iran. Also, yesterday, some sources have been quoted that there will be indirect negotiation and talks in Doha. Is this true? What can you say in this connection? Thank you very much, Anwar. Regarding the 300 billion, you know that there is an economic aspect related not only to the reconstruction, but related to the general investment in the region. I cannot have any comment regarding this for the time being. All efforts in this regard must be an international effort. It cannot be an effort within two countries or only certain countries. The international community has to be part of this and need to guarantee that the value of the economy in the region will be part of that, and not only from one side. I can say no Qatari funds or money have been paid in this regard. The coordination must be universal to deal with the consequences of this crisis. Regarding the electricity connection between Qatar and Iran, nothing is there for the time being. The consequences of the crisis and the impact of the crisis on the economies in the region and the energy in the region must be put in consideration. Regarding the talks, the indirect talks, as you know, contacts between parties are ongoing. Qatar is supporting the mediation efforts, and Qatar is in contact with all parties to apply this agreement. As you know, the Memorandum of Understanding has been signed electronically, and now waiting for Friday to be signed officially, and then another phase will be start of negotiations, and all countries, including Qatar, are working to facilitate the contacts between both parties and the other regional parties in order to reach a good end for the situation and to bring back security and stability in this region.
It's next to you.
No, it's not. Okay. Dr. Majed from AFP. Thanks for the opportunity to ask questions. I note your responses to our Arabic colleagues on the role that Qatar has played in the mediation. I wonder, moving forward, now that the MOU has been electronically signed, whether there's a sense that Qatar will take over as the principal mediator rather than Pakistan, or if you can comment on, in the following 60 days, as issues on the MOU are addressed, what Qatar's role will be moving forward, either as a facilitator to Pakistan or a leader of discussions. And then on the contents of the MOU, which we have not seen, there are conflicting reports from the Iranian and US sides on what will happen with frozen assets to be released. Tehran has said it expects $24 billion in funds during the ceasefire. The US has contradicted this a little bit ambiguously. Is Qatar able, as a key negotiator, able to give any clarity on how this will work?
Thank you, Callum. First of all, regarding the role of Qatar in this mediation, we are supporting the Pakistani-led mediation, working within the mediation team in support of the efforts of our brothers in Pakistan, and we must praise here the role that Pakistan has played to get us to this point, and the role that they will play forward as the main mediator between the US and Iran. For us in Qatar, we don't take lightly our responsibility towards regional security, and therefore we engaged fully as supporters of the mediation in the Pakistani-led mediation, and we are continuing to do that beyond this point. It is not only Qatar. Regional countries have come to the support of Pakistan in this mediation, and I think one of the main things that comes out of this crisis is regional agency and strategic autonomy when it comes to conflict resolution and finding solutions to conflicts in the region through all the region coming together and working together. And you've seen the number of calls and visits and bilaterals that have taken place in the past couple of months in response to the conflict in the region, which of course will continue, and the role of Qatar will continue in that regard. When it comes to the contents of the MOU, I'm glad, Kalam, that you have not seen it, which means that there are no leaks that are successful at this point in making any problem towards the way towards Friday. What I can confirm is that all of these issues were discussed within the MOU, and I would leave it after the signing and the confirmation of all sides for the language to be readily available to you and to other journalists by the parties and by the mediators.
A question regarding the meetings that have been held. He is waiting, I think, for the mic. A question regarding the meetings that are about to be held in Doha, the indirect one. Are they going to be on a political level? Wait, Sabah, for one moment. Wait for one moment. Reports are saying no. The meetings now are being held within the Pakistani mediation, clearly with the parties. The Qatari effort is to support the Pakistani mediation. No meetings at all in Doha for the time being. Okay, I have another question. Has the Qatari mediation met difficult points that can hinder the path of the negotiations? If you can give us some details. And can we say that some understanding that are being spoken about today and other days regarding efforts of Doha? Okay, regarding the difficult points, I think our experience with the mediation, mediation is a group of difficult moments that will lead to an agreement. So I'm not going to say a lot of details today. I leave that for the future. If we have a documentary regarding the Qatari mediation, then we can mention everything. The mediation, for the time being, is led by Pakistan. It's not an easy job. Pakistan needs to be saluted a lot because of the efforts being made by this country, and we need to thank also all the regional and international parties who played part to help the Pakistani mediation. The important question is what this will lead to. This will lead to a memorandum of understanding that will be signed officially on Friday, and it could be the start of a period of talks that might lead to a final solution. All the parties have played their roles, and diplomacy now is being done, by the way, as you know, all through computers and mobiles, more than having meetings in behind closed doors. Thank you, Your Excellency. I have a question regarding the participation of His Excellency, the Prime Minister in Egypt, regarding meetings towards the ceasefire in Gaza. What are the recent developments regarding these meetings? Thank you. First of all, as you know, Qatar is continuing its role in the mediation to put an end to the war in Gaza and to support the plan of President Trump in Gaza. And these meetings in Cairo between all the regional parties, the parties of the mediation, in addition to the Palestinian parties, we aim now at applying completely the agreement. There are some challenges. Some recent positive developments have happened, and there are little points that needs to be discussed. Comments on this topic will be said when we have real achievement in this regard.
Thank you very much, Sir Zain Basrawi, Al Jazeera English. How confident are you that this MOU, the next 3 days, the signing in Switzerland, will result in a long-term end to this conflict? Or another way to put it, are you concerned or worried about a return to fighting, a return to war?
I mean, there is no easy answer to that question. We are cautiously optimistic that the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding will lead to a next phase of regional security through the talks that will take place on the nuclear program and on other issues relating to regional security. But obviously, any conflict around the world is never really ended until there is a sustainable way of doing so. We are looking towards the support of the whole region and supporting the Pakistani-led mediation in reaching a full solution to the issue in the region. That will not come out of a mere meeting or two to discuss the relevant issues. We are talking about various issues: the Strait of Hormuz, regional security, and non-aggression and good neighborly relations between this region and Iran. We're talking about, of course, a nuclear program, but also the other issues in the region regarding proxies and missiles and other issues. These are issues that have plagued the region for decades. They will not be resolved in mere days. So we are looking forward to the platform to be established, for the engagement to begin, to start discussing all of these issues. Obviously, we remain vigilant, and our main concern is the safety of those who live here in Qatar and in our region, making sure that there is a sustainable move towards security, regaining the security that we have always enjoyed in our region. But we are quite optimistic that we are on the right track now towards regional security. Obviously, there are a lot of challenges coming ahead, but let's take this as a moment to enjoy some optimism towards signing the MOU and then moving towards negotiations.
May I ask a brief follow-up, please,
Yeah.
sir? In terms of Qatar's role, a lot of your job has been building bridging the trust gap between the U.S. and Iran. But Iran's attacks on its Arab neighbors has added to that trust deficit. What kind of security guarantees will GCC countries, Qatar specifically, be looking for from Iran going forward?
I mean, I won't comment on the details of what we will be presenting to the table, but what I can confirm is that a regional dialogue is needed as part of the negotiation that will take place post the signing of the MOU, in order to re-establish trust between both sides, in order to find a solution to the fact that threat perception has changed in the region after this war. Yes.
Celia Vallet for French TV, BFM TV. What is left to negotiate about Strait of Hormuz during the Swiss meeting?
Again, please.
What is left to negotiate about Strait of Hormuz during days with Swiss meeting?
So the meeting in Geneva, as we understand from the mediators and the parties of the conflict, will be for signing the MOU that has already been agreed upon when it comes to the Strait. We are confident that, as reported, the MOU will reopen the Strait for normal navigation, and that would allow countries like Qatar to again be supplying energy to the world, and to lessen the burden of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz on international energy markets, of course, and food markets as a result of the fertilizer. So I don't think there are any discussions that will take place between now and Friday. We're hoping that the signing of the MOU will open the door for the negotiations that will help in finding a sustainable, secure position for the Strait of Hormuz.
But in which condition? Because Americans want to make it free, Iranian wants to pay company. So do you know what kind of condition will be in the Strait of Hormuz?
That has already been agreed in the Memorandum of Understanding, and I leave it to the parties of the conflict and the mediators to announce what they have agreed upon post the signing on Friday.
Doctor, there is an important thing in this Memorandum of Understanding, which is the ceasefire in Lebanon. Israel seems not very committed to this point. As a Qatari mediator, have you conveyed anything in this connection? As I said, the state of Qatar is supporting the Pakistani mediation. There is no Qatari independent mediation. As you know, this has been discussed within the Memorandum of Understanding, and I will leave it to the parties of concern to comment on this matter. For us, here in Qatar, we need to confirm that there is no any justification for the ongoing attacks against Lebanon. The sovereignty of Lebanon is a red line for every one of us in the region. These attacks cannot be justified at all.
Thanks again, campaign from AFP. Just quickly, in follow-up to your remarks on the kind of the need for regional dialogue after the MOU on the kind of what we hope is a post-war relationship. At the moment, is it possible, with the deal that was announced Sunday/Monday, for business as usual to resume with Iran now, or is there this deficit of trust that exists? And then also there's a report from Bloomberg citing anonymous officials which details the resumption of LNG at about 50% capacity in the next 30 days and then 80% in 2 months. I wonder if you've seen those reports and you're able to confirm them.
Thank you. Regarding business as usual, I don't think there's anything that can be described as usual in the region post this conflict. We have to find the new norm, which will include a lot of rebuilding of trust, rebuilding of communication channels, and understanding exactly how the post-war region will look like as a result of what has transpired in the past couple of months. So I can't say that we are returning to business as usual in our region with our neighbors, but I can say that there is a lot of need for dialogue and for agreement over how to guarantee the security of our region and our countries as a result of what has happened. When it comes to the LNG, I would leave that to Qatar Energy and the relevant parties to comment on. Please.
What kind of danger does Israeli attack on Lebanon or continued occupation of southern Lebanon pose to the Memorandum of Understanding?
Obviously, as we have always stated, the spiraling of escalation in the region has never been conducive of any kind of ceasefire or peace in our region, whether it be the escalations in Gaza and the attacks on civilians in Gaza, the attacks on the sovereignty of Lebanon, the incursions into Syria. All of these Israeli actions are putting the whole security of the region in danger, and any possibility of a peaceful outcome in any platform, making it very, very skeptical and very, very difficult. But we are quite confident that through the communication with the United States and with other parties in the region and beyond, we will have a ceasefire that will be in not only in the Gulf, but in other places like Lebanon. That, of course, again, is left to the decisions of the Israeli government on respecting the ceasefire. But for us, our position has been very clear in supporting the Lebanese sovereignty and condemning all attacks on Lebanon.
Hi, Nivin Potros from French TV TF1. I have a simple question. Do you know if commercial ships have to pay to pass through the Strait of Hormuz according to the deal between Iran and America?
Again, I would leave that to Friday when the deal is signed to announce the contents of that deal.
Thanks.
شكرا لكم جميعا.